Pete Hamilton was probably the first guy that gave inspiration to people in these parts, inspiration that they could make it big in the big time. The second guy to do it did it with such style, such character, and such pizzazz that they're still forming a line on the way south to join up with the great dream of making it to the big time. And didn't Ronnie Bouchard do it with a tremendous amount of class? From those early days in the red and white mover special at Seekonk Speedway, there was one guy who stood out among all the rest of them as the guy that everybody wanted to be like, the guy everybody wanted to be near. Probably, if you were to read the record book, it would suggest that the biggest day in his life would have been that day at Talladega, that incredible finish when Ronnie Bouchard snuck underneath and managed to grab the win away from those who thought it should have been theirs. But I'd be willing to bet that if you asked Ronnie Bouchard to name his biggest day in all of this, he'd probably tell you about a race at Stafford somewhere, or a race at Seekonk, or a race someplace else in some little short track that had somebody like Gene Bergen in it, and maybe Bill Slater was part of the thing somehow or another, or Ernie Gahan was a part of it as well, because that is his heritage. He is indeed one of us. The only shame of Ronnie Bouchard is we don't get to see him too much anymore. He's so busy making bundles and bundles of money and then carting it off to the banks with all of his car dealerships that we really don't see him. But for those of us who did get a chance to see him race and watched his act, there is sure no surprise that he is among the very first inductees to the Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Bouchard. And wouldn't Bob Johnson be proud of that picture?
Thank you, Dick.
Congratulations.
Well, I'm not sure, Dick. That race at Talladega was pretty exciting. It had me on the edge of my seat, I know that. But you're right. There was many nights that I raced at all the local tracks with people like Bugsy Stevens. Unfortunately, not too much with Pete Hamilton. He got away on me a little bit before I got going, and Gene Bergen, Bill Slater, Ernie Gahan, some of the best people in racing. There was many nights. Richie Evans, super guys. I commented when I come in, the first guy I see is Bugsy, and no jokes tonight. I was surprised. There's a guy there, you could run aside of him for 200 laps, and he would never, ever rub you. And we all know there was many race drivers that didn't have that talent. But Bugsy was truly a champion, a great guy to race with. Richie Evans was another one. You could leave him down there all night, and that's where he stayed, not into you, on top of you. And just some great people that have been involved in this sport. And tonight is really a pleasure for me to be one of the first inductees. I'd like to thank Near, all the people on the board, everybody that put us up here. It really means a lot that people in New England understand, realize how big racing is, because it's a very big sport. I enjoy it. The reason you don't get to see me too much is I don't make that many trips to the bank. I wish I did. Since I got out of racing, I think a lot of people, Pete Hamilton, the people that are sitting in here can tell you, it's very difficult to go back to a racetrack. I never said I retired. I haven't sat behind the wheel of a race car in 10 years. And I know what would happen to me if I did. I'd be doing it again. And I think I made my commitment. I raced for 25 years, had a lot of great success, met a lot of great people, had an excellent time. Racing enabled me to become a car dealer, get into the business I'm in for my family, myself, and I know that, if I stay there every day and I stay away from the racetracks, I'll stay selling cars, and I've made that commitment to do that. But I miss it a lot. It was a great sport. It's a shame today it's got so difficult for the younger people to be involved. My son Robbie started to race, and hell, it's a good thing we got 6 car dealerships, so we couldn't afford to run that damn thing, but I can't imagine what it'd be like going in a Winston Cup stock car. But again, I'd like to thank everybody that was involved in this day. There was a lot of people that were involved in my career because I was one of them little guys coming up with no money, a lot of energy, and wanted to do all of this stuff that I seen on TV. And some of the people that are here today, my dad, who was a big, big part in my racing career, because you know, I could have never bought tires. We used to steal them off the truck so that we could go racing. I'd like to thank my dad. All of my children are here today. They went through a lot. They used to stay in that parking lot sometimes till 2, 3 in the morning while we were doing a little bench racing. So they went through a lot of that. I'd like to thank all of them. And of course, my wife Paula, she went through a lot, stood behind me, pushed me and probed me when needed be. And I'd like to thank her, and I'd like to thank everybody that's here today. Thank you.
This is yours to keep. That one you got to put on the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask for one thing. Ronnie? No, don't put it there. The thing that I remember about Ron Bouchard is the way he could get it done on the outside. Go down to the outside, Ronnie. The Wassa Wassa Kid, ladies and gentlemen, from Pittsburgh, Massachusetts.